Hey, what's up, everyone? Back for this Thursday main slate. 7-game slate for today, so it's a nice kind of short slate. I already posted the video for the 3-game early slate, so check that out if you haven't already. But let's jump right into this one. You can like and subscribe down below. Found some really good plays that I feel pretty confident about. So, starting off at pitcher, we have a little bit of rain concern in this Yankees game, so as of now, I'm just going to kind of avoid it until we get a little more clarity on it. But if this game does play, then I will really like some of the Red Sox bats. Most notably, JD Martinez would be my favorite. And then I don't really have any interest in the Yankees. And with the rain, it's kind of tough to play any pitcher from this game, just in case it could get delayed. But we don't know that until, Kevin Roth will get us all locked in a couple hours before lock. So if the weather looks pretty good in this game, then Chris Sale becomes a really good play. But I'm going to go with Carlos Carrasco at 9,500. He's a little cheaper than Chris Sale. He's finally under $10,000. I believe it's the first time in a while that he's been under $10,000. He was 9,100 against the Mariners, but he still put up 41 in that game. He has a ton of upside here, ton of strikeout upside against this White Sox team. They strike out one of the most in the league against right-handed pitchers, and as you can see, he has had his way against this team. He put up 28 and 31. And in the start that he put up 31 DraftKings points, he only threw 63 pitches. I believe he left with an injury, and maybe it was a rain delay. But what could have been if he threw 100 pitches in that game? With the way he was pitching, that would have been at least 40 DraftKings points, maybe 45. So you got to like Carlos Carrasco here. His price tag is very cheap. He's been not super consistent, but his last couple starts have come against some good offenses like Tampa Bay and Oakland. He finally gets a pretty soft matchup here against the White Sox, and I think he can take advantage of it. The one thing he has not been struggling at all this season is with the strikeouts. He already has 72 strikeouts in just 58 innings, which is a really good number. So I like Carrasco a lot. Second pitcher I'm going to go with is going to be Tyler Skaggs at 8,200. So Skaggs is a really good pitcher. He's been really good this season. -1 start against Detroit out of all teams. Put up 7 earned runs against him. But besides that start, he's been really good. He has some strikeout upside as well, averaging exactly a strikeout per inning. He doesn't give up many home runs either. He gets a lot of ground balls too, and he goes pretty deep into games. And it's a really good matchup here against the Mariners, mainly because as you look at their lineup, they are pretty lefty heavy here. They're expected to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of their 9 hitters are going to be left-handed, as that's what it looks like here on Fantasy Labs. So if that's the case, it seems like a really good spot for Tyler Skaggs. Given his history against left-handed pitchers, he's been really good against lefties this season and last season especially. So facing 5 lefties potentially seems like a really good spot. And the Mariners team has really cooled down. They started off this year as baseball's hottest team, but they are like 6, 7, or 8 games below 500 now. It's really sad how far they've fallen. But this season, he has a .233 batting average given up to lefties and a .372 slugging. And last season, he was really good as well against lefties. .231 average given up, just a .250 on base and a .402 slugging. And he just strike them out at a good amount too, 27.5% K rate against lefties last year. And we know the Diamondbacks have the Mariners have a ton of strikeouts in the lineup with like Haniger, Santana, Seager against lefties, Malik Smith against a lefty. Just a ton of strikeouts. Encarnacion, Vogelbach. Like, he could have he could flirt with around 10 strikeouts here. I would not be surprised with that at all. So I'm going with those 2 pitchers. Leaves us with $4,000, about $4,000 left for the rest, and that's what I kind of like to have, $4,000. So one of my favorite teams to stack today is going to be the Dodgers, mainly because they are extremely inexpensive. Well, I'll put Skaggs in here, and then I'll show you how inexpensive the Dodgers are today. And they are facing Jason Vargas, one of the worst pitchers over the past 2 years. Some of the really cheap Dodgers hitters are David Freese at 3,900, Kike Hernandez leading off at 3,700, Chris Taylor projected to bat 5th at just 3,400, Justin Turner given his incredible numbers against lefties at 4,200. Those are all the cheapies that I like. So we're going to start it off with Chris Taylor He's only 3,400. He's second base and outfield eligible, and he's been hitting the ball pretty well as of late. He's been extremely good against left-handed pitching this season. It's a really good matchup against Vargas. The Dodgers have a 5-run total, and Chris Taylor against lefties has been pretty solid this season, like really solid compared to his numbers against righties. So he's hitting .267 against lefties, which is decent. It's only 60 at-bats, but he has 3 home runs in those 60 at-bats compared to just 1 home run in 74 at-bats against righties. So that gives him a .233 ISO and a .500 slugging percentage. So I really do like the spot for Chris Taylor. He's also been hitting the ball much better at home with a .257 average at home and just a .219 average on the road. So at 3,400, I love Taylor here as a cheap value play. Third base, I really like Jose Ramirez here. He's really cheap. He's been underpriced all season, but he should be underpriced because he hasn't been hitting the ball well. But now he's 3,900 against a lefty, and it's against a really bad lefty. Jose Ramirez is finally over, his batting average is finally over 200 thanks to his 2 straight 2-hit games. He has not struggled with stolen bases this season. He's up to 14 stolen bases on the year, and he's not afraid to run at all. When he gets on base, he takes off against anybody. And here he gets to face a pitcher with a 7.71 earned run average, who has been pretty good with the strikeouts, but he has given up 22 walks in just 35 innings. So if Ramirez gets on base with a walk, even though it is a lefty, he has shown the ability to steal off lefties. So he could get you a stolen base or even 2 stolen bases and make value right there. But the Indians have a high total today, and Banuelos is pretty bad against righties. I definitely butchered his last name, Banuelos. I don't know. But anyway, I like the Indians. I like a couple pieces from the Indians. All right, so I love Ramirez. Going to go with Lindor on the other side. Lindor is also extremely good against left-handed pitchers. He's been hitting the ball well pretty much this whole year. He was hurt for a few weeks, so it's only been like 142 at-bats, but he has 7 home runs. He has 6 stolen bases too, so he steals as well. And against lefties, he was one of the best hitters in the league against lefties last year. So this season it's kind of a small sample size, so he hasn't been hitting the ball extremely well against lefties, but it's only 43 at-bats. But his career numbers against lefties and his last season's numbers speak for themselves. Last year he hit .343 against lefties, and he had 9 home runs and just 201 at-bats, which gave him a .240 ISO. And as for his career, he has a career .308 batting average against lefties, .278 against righties, so 30 points higher. And over the past couple seasons, 2018, he was incredible against lefties. So I really do like him here at 4,800. And last but not least, I like Kike Hernandez at 3,700. He bats leadoff against lefties. He's incredibly cheap at 3,700 given the matchup. And he definitely has a ton of upside against lefties, just like his buddy Chris Taylor. He's been crushing it. So we'll look at the numbers for him against lefties, and then we'll look at Vargas's numbers. So he's hitting .286 against lefties this season, over 110 points higher than his numbers against righties this year. .286 with 4 home runs and just 63 at-bats, which gives him a .222 ISO, .222 ISO. And his career numbers against lefties are much better. .268, just .215 against righties, and a lot more power, as you can see, even though it's a lot less at-bats. .226 career ISO against lefties. You got to love Hernandez here leading off against Vargas. And I said I will look at Vargas's numbers. We'll do a quick glance at them. But Vargas gives up a ton of power. He's not getting a ton of strikeouts anymore. You know, he's 36 years old, He doesn't throw fast anymore. Really good spot for the Dodgers to really crush him. He's been bad to both sides this season. Look at his 2018 numbers. He was extremely bad against righties, which is great for Kike and Chris Taylor, and his career numbers are pretty similar, but he's given up a career 30-point slugging higher against lefties. Against righties. So I like Hernandez here. Makes a ton of sense. So that's it for the video. We're going to pay up for Carrasco and Skaggs, grab a couple of those cheap Dodgers and Taylor and Hernandez, and pay up for the Indian bats and Lindor, and then go with a cheap Ramirez. So I hope you enjoyed the video. You can drop a like down below. You still have over 4,100 left to fill it out. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and good luck today.